right, a crazy situation here in DFW at a FedEx facility as a man attacked a coworker with a hammer, which also led to a shooting, and now the suspect is out on bond. Let's check it out.
The family of a man allegedly attacked by a coworker at a FedEx facility says they're upset that the suspect is already out on bond. Police say Ian Hollingsworth attacked Reginald Miles with a hammer in the parking lot. This happened on Monday morning. When Miles grabbed a gun, investigators say Hollingsworth knocked it loose and then shot Miles with it. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke to his family at the hospital where Miles is still recovering. She joins us now live. Peyton.
Heather, yeah, we sat down with Miles's family today outside the Dallas hospital. Now, Miles, he is still recovering in the hospital. I can tell you he is out of the ICU. He was shot twice in the shoulder and once in the chest. And his family also tells me that he has bruises down his body after he was hit with a hammer.
And thank God that our nephew, her brother-in-law is still with us today.
Thursday, the family of Reginald Miles is by his side at a Dallas hospital. Miles now out of the ICU, talking a little, but in a lot of pain.
His spirits is real low, but we're gonna keep him. We're gonna lift him up.
Miles shot 3 times by his coworker, 34-year-old Ian Hollingsworth, according to Dallas police. It happened Monday morning as the two were reporting for their shift at the FedEx facility near I-30 and Cockrell Hill Road. Investigators say Hollingsworth first boxed Miles into a parking spot with his truck and then hit Miles with a hammer several times. After Miles grabbed his gun out of the center console, police say Hollingsworth knocked the gun to the ground, picked it up, and opened fire.
That's our loved one laying up there that could be dead right now.
Man, that could have been a lot worse. That guy could be dead right now, like he said. It's just very unfortunate what happened, but he got very lucky as well. And this could have been an extremely ugly situation either way. So imagine if he had not knocked the gun out of his hand, and this guy defended himself and shot the suspect, and he could have killed him, and he would have to deal with the legal side of that, and it just would have been a potentially deal with legal stuff. It just could have been a very messy situation. It already is. And I'm very thankful that this guy has survived this situation.
We could be burying him. So if I look at you the wrong way, you have a right to take my life?
Hollingsworth took off and sent his supervisor multiple text messages, according to police, including, quote, "I'm not sorry for what I did, but I'm sorry you've been put in this position." And Wednesday was the last straw. When I was doing that work right and he glared like he wanted to throw me off that tower. Hollingsworth arrested at his
does not justify you taking a hammer and beating a man and then taking his gun and shooting him. Doesn't justify at all. I don't care how he looked at you.
Prairie apartment, which was surrounded Monday afternoon. After he was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, Hollingsworth posted his $25,000 bond.
This guy is sick. He needs to be off the street.
Hollingsworth is back at home. We visited his complex Wednesday to speak with neighbors when he came outside to get groceries.
Yes, ma'am.
Our cameras caught the tail end of Hollingsworth saying yes, ma'am, before going upstairs, right after telling us he doesn't have any comment about this case. Miles's family watched that.
Dang, imagine being a neighbor and then seeing the guy that they're reporting on walk up the stairs. That's pretty scary.
Quick interaction Wednesday evening on Fox 4.
For this young man to be out on bond is kind of ridiculous.
Now, Hollingsworth, he does have some bond conditions. That includes no alcohol, no drugs, no possession of a weapon, and he cannot go near that FedEx facility he worked at. Now, some employees at that West Dallas FedEx facility tell me that they knew about this feud between the suspect and the victim. They were concerned, and some of them tell me they even reported it to their supervisors. Heather?
All right.
Dang. Crazy stuff. Now I want to talk about bond and the situation here in Texas. So this past legislative session, Governor Abbott did sign 3 bail reform bills into law. Well, 2 became law immediately, and 1 is for a constitutional change in November here in Texas, for a vote. So let's get into that a little bit. Governor Greg Abbott signed 3 new bail reform bills in Houston happened back in June, in Houston on Tuesday at a packed Crime Stoppers event, with 2 measures automatically becoming law while the third requires voter approval in November. The signing ceremony drew about 200 attendees, including numerous law enforcement officials and victims' families who displayed what State Senator Joan Huffman of Houston called quiet courage. He authored 3 bills that were signed into downtown Houston at the event. The first measure, Senate Bill 9, bans personal bonds for certain violent or repeat offenders and requires elected judges rather than magistrates to decide bail in serious cases. The second bill, Senate Bill 40, prevents local governments from giving public money to nonprofits that pay bail for defenders. The third measure, this is one as I think is going to be key, very crucial. The third measure, Senate Joint Resolution 5, represents a proposed change to the Texas Constitution and will appear on the November ballot for voter consideration. If approved, judges will no longer be able to grant bail for violent criminals like murder and rape, according to the legislation. The measure also requires the prosecutor shows that the defendant is a flight risk and a danger. Judges who release violent defendants on bail must explain the decision to the public in writing. Very interesting that they have to explain this to the public why they made that decision. During the event, Crime Stoppers displayed photos of 15 murder victims, and many of their relatives testified in support of bail reform bail bills. I'm sorry. Yeah, so bail reform is key here in Texas because a lot of people question why violent criminals, people who commit violent crimes, are able to be released on bail. And I'm glad to see that there was something done about this past legislative session. So we'll see what happens in November here in Texas. You already know how I'm going to vote on this. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think this should be bipartisan. I don't think this should be a controversial issue here. But yeah, I'll leave that right there. And what do you think? Should this guy be out on bail? How do you feel about that? Let me know what you think in the comments. But wild situation is there's a feud between him and his coworker, which unfortunately led to a dangerous workplace situation, which could have resulted in either of these guys getting killed. Yeah. So I'll leave that right there. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care.